Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now we have got my first Zwift Racing League B race of the season. I was previously in category C last season. Did pretty well, but this is a B1 race, so rather than go into the lower B category leagues, I'm straight up into the top division with my team Rafa, which was a bit of a rude awakening, to be honest with you. So in this video, we're going to see how tough a top category B Zwift Racing League race is. Now this one was hot from the very start. We got a turf and surf in Mercury Islands. So a relatively short course, a couple of punchy climbs, but the first sprint segment was basically within 700 meters of the start of this race, or maybe a bit further, I don't know, a bit further. It was a couple of minutes in, so really hot off the start here. Now, for those that know me, I am not brilliant when it comes to racing too hard early on in the race. I normally lose a lot of energy early on. I don't know what it is. I've got better at it, but I'm still not brilliant. So I had a couple of game plans in this one. So firstly, it was to obviously stay with the front group for as long as possible. So I really wanted to burn as many matches as I could to do that early on during this first sprint. And then up the next little climb, I was going to give it everything to stay with the front pack. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to make it up the last incline, but that was the plan. The first two kind of segmenty bits, do my best, and then just hang on and try and finish up as high as possible. Now, as you can see, this sprint, I'm kind of towards the back of the pack at the moment, so not great, but I did make up a few places here, and actually coming across the line in a second, you'll see that I get 7th fastest, which was really, really weird. I was quite surprised that I actually got 7th fastest through there. Now, it turns out at the end of the race that I didn't actually get any points for that, so whether or not there was a couple of people behind me that actually got that segment. But I was kind of kicking myself a little bit here, because I thought maybe I should have made a little bit more of an effort and tried to stay a bit further up the front to get some first across the line points. But nevertheless, the first little job that I've done or wanted to do, stay with the front during the first sprint, that is done. Now, I was actually ranked the lowest against everyone in this race in terms of my 20-minute power. So, I have obviously been recently building up my fitness through the NRC team, which a lot of you will know. I've been doing some really good solid blocks of training. And I've improved my kind of 20 minutes from around about the 3.1 to about the 3.6 watt per kilogram mark, which has been great. But 3.6 kilograms was actually the lowest in terms of the 20-minute power for this group of people. And actually some of the guys in this one went up to 4.6 kilograms watts per kilogram for 20 minutes, which is just, for me, that is like old category A. I know obviously we're in the Zwift Racing School now, which is great. And it kind of leads me on to a little bit of a point here around the scoring. So I've got no idea why the Zwift Racing League are still using the old categories A to D, especially when, this is probably the most popular. Obviously there's FRR, which is, also very popular. And there are other race series out there, which, gain a lot of traction. But this particular, WTRL series has been on for a long time. And I don't know why they just, why the biggest racing series, they haven't moved across the racing school. I don't get it. I don't get why they want to plan that out before, coming out with this Zwift Racing School, or, Zwift and WTRL talking to each other and saying, this is going to happen. Can you kind of make it so that the racers use the new scoring system? But, whatever. It is what it is at the end of the day, and we'll keep racing in the old categories for now. It just seems a bit weird, that's all. So, just kind of to make that point, there are a lot of people that I would consider kind of the old A category. So I'm racing in a really, really tough category here, which does give me a little bit of an excuse, But at the same time, I wanted to give it my all. I want to be testing myself in these races. And I think for me, it's just about, being the best that I possibly can be and trying the hardest. Because ultimately, it's going to improve my fitness at the end of the day. Now, we're just kind of coming up to the little climb here, and it was relatively calm at the kind of in between the first sprint and where we are now. So coming up this incline, I really am just going to draft the best that I can. Now, I wasn't even looking at my power numbers at this point because I knew if I did, I'd be kind of seeing high 380s and going, oh dear, you're not going to be able to sustain this for much longer. So I kind of ignored that and just went on, you know, how my legs were feeling. Now, I really said to myself before this climb, you have to give it everything just to kind of get into this front group, just to pull away the most that you can, because if I'd have gone off the back here, I would have been with another little group, and I reckon that, you know, come the last climb, I probably would have been spat out the back of that pack. So I thought, just, you got to give it everything, and you can see my heart rate is pretty high for me, 178, 179, and coming through the sprint here, I'm not going to, you know, win any fastest through or first across the line points, but I think that I've done quite a good job. You know, this is a B1 category. This is a really, really tough race, and I've burned 2 matches here that are probably my only 2 matches, but I'm with the front group. And now everything I'm doing here is just to kind of rest and recover for this last climb. Now, in my head, I'm going to drop on this last climb. There's no doubt about it. It's about a 4-minute effort, and I know I haven't got 4 minutes at about 490 watts. So I'm really kind of thinking I need to get as far ahead as possible with this group to make sure I've got the best chance of finishing as high up as I possibly can at the end of the day. And it's just, yeah, I'm just recovering here, and I'm just thinking about that last climb. You know, I'm thinking probably worst case scenario here, I'll finish in 42nd place because there are 42 people in this little group here. But you know what, for a B1 race, absolutely fine. You know, I'd be happy with that as a starting point for sure. Now, you know, I've lasted, what, maybe 20 seconds here, and I can already feel myself, you know, starting to drop. Now, one criticism that I have got of myself is, did I really empty myself at that point? If I'm honest, I would probably say no. I did maybe have a little bit additional in the tank, but I was I don't know, I was just kind of using my reserves and thinking, well, you know what, I'm not going to completely go snap. I'm going to still keep a little bit in reserve just in case anyone from behind decides that they want to attack and try and maintain this 41st, 42nd position. So you can see the person behind is making a little bit of an effort and is definitely closing the gap. So I'm thinking I'm just going to work with this chap here just to try and finish off, you know, and stay within this position. Now, this climb, I know it was like very short, but it was still proper attritional. And I've still, even though I've dropped off there, I've still used quite a lot of energy. Person behind now is closing up, 14 seconds, 13 seconds. So they're really closing quickly. So I know that I need to do something. Now, I was kind of half considering messaging this guy and just saying, look, do you want to work together? But I thought I would just do it myself, to be honest with you, because the amount of energy that it would have taken just to write that message anyway. I thought, oh, I'll just plough on. Let this person here go a little bit ahead. And I always back myself with this sprint, especially, you know, I'm in a pretty decent position here. We're getting to under 1,000 feet, so 0.2 like I normally say, and then I'll just put on the old afterburners and just do my best. Now, this person does put up a fight, so I was sat down on my bike at this point, and I was just looking at his watts just to make sure that my watts were above. And yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure that I've got the 41st position, which, you know, in theory is kind of my, you know, it's the best that I think I possibly could have done in this race. You know, it's not my, it's not kind of a preferred parkour, but I'm really, really happy with that as a starting point. Now, what that means is I've got to improve from here, and the races that I do from now on have got to be, you know, even better. Put the Zwift Power on the screen here, so some pretty good numbers. I think I did my best 5 minutes in ages and my best 3 minutes. So you know, it was pretty good, to be honest with you. And the team did a good job. I think we're kind of mid-table in this particular race, but yeah, doing really, really well. And welcome back to the B1s for me. I got a little bit more training to do this week, but I am confident that I will continue to improve. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.